We all know that exercise is good for us. But what if one particular type of exercise could add almost a decade to your life? Today, we're diving into a fascinating study that might just change how you think about your entire workout routine. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you straight up. If you had to guess, which activity would you put your money on? Maybe jogging, right? Super popular for heart health. Or maybe it's hitting the gym, sweating it out on all that fancy equipment. Go ahead, get an answer in your head. Because the real one is probably not what you're thinking.
Okay, here's the number. 9.7 years. That is the potential gain. Almost an extra decade of life. I mean, that's just a staggering figure. So, what is the activity that delivers that kind of result? Yep, tennis. Of all the sports they studied, playing tennis was linked to the single biggest jump in longevity. And this isn't just a wild guess, it's the headline from a huge 25-year-long scientific investigation. So how did they figure this out, and what else was on the list?
That brings us to what I'm calling the longevity leaderboard. We're about to look at the study that came up with these incredible results and break down the full ranking. The results are, well, they're surprising.
So all of this comes from the Copenhagen City Heart Study. And you need to know, this wasn't some small, quick survey. We're talking about a massive project that followed over 8,500 people for up to 25 years. They tracked their habits, their health, everything, to see what really makes a difference.
And here it is, the full breakdown. As we saw, tennis is just miles ahead at 9.7 years. Right behind it, another racket sport, badminton, with a solid 6.2 years, and then the team sport of soccer at 4.7. But then, look at the drop. Popular solo activities like jogging and swimming, they're way down the list. And all the way at the bottom are general health club activities with just a 1.5-year gain.
Seeing it as a bar chart really puts the gap in perspective. The benefit from playing tennis is more than 3 times that of jogging, and it's over 6 times the benefit of going to the gym. This is not a small difference we're talking about. It's a massive gulf that raises a really important question. So why the big gap? What in the world is it about tennis that puts it in a totally different league? The answer is not as simple as just working harder. In fact, the data shows something kind of paradoxical. And here's the real head-scratcher from this whole study. When the researchers looked at how much time people were spending exercising each week, the group with the smallest benefit, the gym-goers, were actually the ones working out the most. I mean, how is that even possible? Let's just look at the raw numbers. The health club group put in almost 10 hours a week for a 1.5-year benefit. Meanwhile, the tennis players exercised less, about 8.5 hours a week, and got that incredible 9.7-year gain. This tells us one thing for sure. It is not just about the minutes you clock. Something else is going on. This leads us to the first big explanation from the researchers themselves, what they call the social connection theory. The idea here is that how we exercise, and more importantly, who we exercise with, might be the secret ingredient we've been missing. And don't just take my word for it. Here's a quote from the study's lead author, Dr. Peter Schnorr. He flat out says that the sports at the top of the list are the ones that inherently involve social interaction. You know, you can't play tennis or badminton by yourself, and you definitely need a team for soccer. The pattern is pretty hard to ignore. The top performers, tennis, badminton, soccer, are all about partners or teams. And the lower performers, they're mostly things you do alone. This theory suggests that the community, the accountability, the simple fun of being with others provides a health boost that's just as powerful as the physical part. And this isn't just a hunch. The researchers point to other huge studies that have found that strong social bonds are a bigger predictor of your survival than almost anything else, even more than exercise itself. So maybe your workout buddy is the most powerful medicine of all. But hold on, social connection might not be the whole story. There's another really compelling theory that's all about the physical nature of the workout itself, the difference between exercising in short bursts versus going at a steady, continuous pace. Think about the rhythm of tennis or soccer. It's not a steady jog. It's a series of short sprints, sudden stops, quick changes of direction, and powerful lunges. We call that interval training, and it's a world away from the steady one-speed pace of a long run or bike ride. This interval-style approach might just be better for our bodies. It uses the whole body, it recruits all these large muscle groups, and a lot of other research shows that these short, intense bursts can actually improve your heart and lung fitness more effectively than steady, plodding cardio. And this idea clicks perfectly with other stuff the same researchers found. When they looked just at joggers, they found this U-shaped curve, which means light to moderate jogging was best for a long life. Super strenuous, high-mileage running, it offered less of a benefit. Again, it proves that more isn't always better. Okay, so we have two really solid theories: social connection and interval-style training. So what does this all mean for you and me? Before you rush out and trade your running shoes for a tennis racket, there are a couple of really important things we need to cover. First off, it is absolutely critical to understand the difference between association and causation. This study found a powerful link, or an association, between tennis and a longer life. But it can't prove that tennis causes you to live longer. It's possible that other factors are involved. Now, to their credit, the researchers knew this, and they did their best to account for it. They adjusted for things like income, education, even smoking and drinking habits. They wondered, hey, are tennis players just wealthier and that's the real reason they live longer? But even when they looked only at people with a university degree to level the playing field, tennis and badminton still came out on top. And that really brings us to the key takeaway. The message here isn't stop jogging. Please, don't stop jogging. Any exercise is way, way better than none. The profound insight here is that the context of your exercise, is it social, is it interval-based, could be just as important for your long-term health as the simple act of moving your body.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Maybe the best workout isn't just about challenging our muscles and our heart. Maybe it's also about connecting us with other people. It asks us all to think, is my workout just feeding my body, or is it feeding my spirit too? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.